Welcome to Three Takes. I'm Ashana.
I'm Manali.
I'm Mona.
Three women.
Three generations.
One family, unpacking the questions we all ask. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We released an episode on what makes friendship last about a month ago, and we got a lot of positive response from people about that episode. One thing we didn't touch on when we recorded that was the role of social media in friendships. And so today we basically wanted to extend that conversation and pose the question, does social media make friendships stronger or more shallow? What do you guys think?
I can start with the stronger side first. Actually just last week from our childhood friends, the elementary and the middle school we did a get-together, a function in memory of the founder and the principal of our school. And the friends who put that event together, I would have not been connected with them if the social media was not there. So I grew up with them. We stayed in touch when I was in college because we were in the same city. But as I got married, I think initially I was in touch with them with few friends, just with the letters. But then gradually, it kind of just went off because everybody got busy with their life. It was, I think, much, much later when the Facebook got introduced. That's where the first time I got connected with people. So I think I'm very thankful of social media because I'm still connected with the friends who I grew up with. I'm still connected with who I met in somewhere along the journey.
Yeah, I think if we want to start with how social media can make friendships stronger, I think similarly to Mama's point, there's definitely a certain bucket of people who I feel like I am only connected with via social media. So I have a group of friends who I FaceTime with, I call with, I text with, and then there's like a middle section of friendships where I just send memes to, we comment and like each other on social media. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that is a new stage of how friendships stay connected. And I mean, even for me, there was a time earlier this summer where I was like, I want to not go on Instagram this summer and just have a refresh. But I struggled to do that, and I didn't do that at all successfully because there was a part of me that there was like, I'm going to lose a whole chunk of friendships because I don't have that platform, which can also be a negative thing. But I think for the most part, there's a lot of people I stay connected with via social media, which is beneficial.
I also think that it's the micro touches, right? A quick like or comment that says like, I see you when the life is too busy for a call. Because all the time you really cannot talk to people or see person. I think just having that micro touch, the social media helps.
I agree. I also think even if it's not staying in touch with your inner circle of friends, I do also think social media allows you to at least be connected in some way, even to like remote circle. There's so many people in high school who like I haven't talked to in a decade, right? But it is really nice to see like them post about like their marriages or like babies now, like all of their life milestones. It's really nice to see that and like just recognizing that, right? Whether that's with a like or a comment, it does feel like you are connected in some way, even though I wouldn't necessarily say I have like deep friendships with them at this point.
Yeah, I think one thing that you said is not every friendship has to be this BFF lifestyle, right? We talked in our earlier episode on friendship that different people come in at different seasons. Different friendships have different definitions and relationships. And some friendships are just a little bit more virtual than in person. I think another benefit from social media that I have found at least is that a lot of the times I'm able to find out mutual friends through social media, which I think is a big plus of if you move to a new city or you have an extracurricular activity, meeting friends of friends, I think happens a lot more easier via social media.
Yeah, and I think that friendships are growing stronger because they're staying in touch across distance and time zones. So because of the social media, we are able to do that. For me, I really like one thing about the social media is that memory keeper, right? Right, when you have tagging in photos or resurfacing old memories, it's just so nice to see where you were in the friendship and where you are now, and just to see, oh my gosh, how you used to look 10 years back, and now it's just really nice to see that. I think that's really neat things the social media has done.
Yeah, I think that, Mama, that's such a good point. Literally today, I just texted one of my best friends from college because on this date, 4 years ago in college, we were like on a party bus going to a Darty, and now our 5-year college reunion is in next month. So just being able to look at that memory, which was captured on social media, send it to her, just also created this way where we were talking and chatting and also thinking about what has happened in that time since.
Going off of your point, Ishana, for long distance friendships, I think social media is an important part for me to stay connected in some way. I will say, though, that it can get overwhelming at times. And I've definitely found myself just scrolling through aimlessly on social media. And it can take time if you let it. Do you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, I think there's definitely the other part of this question of, can social media also make friendships more shallow? Which I definitely think is possible if you don't have limits and you don't have boundaries. I think it's really easy to get trapped almost in this social media vicious cycle to the point, I've been guilty of it where I'm like, oh my God, this person is doing this. Why am I not doing that? The comparison culture of, at this point, there's a lot of people I feel like I follow on certain social media platforms and I'm like, I actually don't even remember who you are, but I still have you on social media. And I don't know why I don't want to unfollow them, but I also have no connection to them whatsoever. And so there is a little bit of shallowness with some of the people that I have on social media too.
Yeah, and I think it creates that FOMO, right, in comparison, seeing that highlight reel versus the lived reality, right? Because you started believing every single thing what you are doing in the social media. And sometimes you go away from the real life. And also that, to me, sometimes I feel that social media, that liking and commenting, replacing my actual conversations, because I might be liking and commenting you on there, but do we really have or having actual conversations? You meet with me, you or we see in the party, you don't bring the conversation or anything, but on my social media, the way you're liking and commenting looks like that we are part of really close-knit group. So I think there is a little bit of a shallow does come with social media.
And I do think sometimes people's online social media personality is different from their real life personality as well. Just the content that they post, how opinionated they are, which can be interesting because Ishana's on the older side of Gen Z. Social media was not really a thing for us in middle school, which I think is where most of the growing pains come. And, at least for me, it didn't really become a thing till high school. And as a result, we had friendships from childhood and older that were very organic and real life. Whereas I think now some people only have online friends, or that's the majority of how they spend time with their friends, as opposed to hanging out at the mall or going to Darties or whatever it may be, right? And I think that dynamic has changed.
No, I think that's a really good point. That I'm thinking about, remember when we used to live in Greenville and after school or on snow days or on the weekends, we didn't have people to communicate with. We were little. And so it was our neighbors. And that was how we spent time. There was so much time for play. And TV time was family TV time. It wasn't we all had our own tablets, our own cell phones and all of that. And then I think I was on the cusp a little bit where social media started becoming a big thing in middle school. But I remember going to mama and papa being like, I want Facebook. Everyone has Facebook. Like we would like, remember you would like poke each other on Facebook and that's how you would like be friends with each other and that would like kind of signal friendship. So I think it's a little bit scary if you become super addicted to just isolating yourself in the virtual world of that's how you have friends.
I mean, Ishana, you can touch on this because you've mentioned a few times how like Jonathan Haidt was your professor at NYU. And his book, The Anxious Generation, talks a lot about this idea of parents overprotecting in the real world, but not protecting in the virtual world. And as a result, there's all kinds of like mental health problems that we're seeing. But I don't know, like to make it go back to our topic of question, does social media make friendships stronger or more shallow? I think that answer honestly kind of changes by the generation. Like I think for like my mom's generation, for example, it's a way of like nostalgia and like reconnecting with like friends who like they haven't seen in years, but maybe at one point in their life they had really deep connections. I mean, I think I feel similarly, though I would certainly say like there are some shallow friendships on my social media platforms too.
Yes, social media did help. If I ask myself, would I still have friends from high school or college circle without social media? No. I think social media is a big reason why I'm still connected with my high school and the college friends circle. But there is also the flip side of it. When it started, the use was limited and little. But now it has become so excessive that I think it's losing the purpose and the meaning also, because I think sometimes I get overwhelmed. Like, okay, I can, in the social media, I can connect, but I think when it's overwhelming, sometimes because I'm connected with so many people. Every time something on the other is popping up, I just cannot keep up. And sometimes what happens is that I might have intention, I like something, but then I am busy with something, so I forgot to like or comment. I think people take it very seriously. To me, if somebody is not liking and commenting, you have to think that they might be just busy. But I think people are thinking that as a real friendship, like, they're thinking it's like a in-person friendship. They want people to like, comment, do things there. Whether you meet in the party, they might not even talk to you. So to me, is it a real friendship? Probably not. It's just the social media to show people that how many people likes, comments, and how many followers or friends you have.
I want to go back to what Detta was saying earlier. I side with you that where I think it's a generation thing. Because if I were to directly answer that question, I think social media makes friendships more shallow. And I hate to kind of say that because I play into it as opposed to try to restrict myself from it, because what stands out about Mama's generation is they didn't grow up that way. So the way of finding friendships and staying close to friendships hasn't changed. They've just been able to stay more in touch with them. But I feel like there are just random friends I have on social media that I'm like, honestly, if I were to get a cup of coffee with you, I have no idea what I would say. And so I almost feel like, and you mentioned it earlier, my professor Jonathan Haidt, who is a big researcher in just the phone-based world in general, has written a ton of books. We don't need these things in order to have valuable friendships. Like, again, I would like to say that I can just not have my phone on me unless it's for emergency purposes, which is what a phone should and used to be, because I can count my closest friends on my finger, and those are the people that make me feel good, that I feel like I can trust with everything. And a lot of these like middle, bottom tier people on social media are not necessarily adding or making you lose anything in my relationships.
Yeah, and actually that's a really good point. Actually, I have a friend. She told me that she has more than 2,000 friends on the Facebook. But in the last 4 years, she has made an intentional effort to go through that list and see even they are real friends or not. And now she has only 200, which she thinks, and she said she's still like, she said that's her one thing that every 6 months she'll look at her list and she says, when was the last time do I want to be connected or I don't want to be connected? So I think it requires also an effort. Do you really want your list of friends to grow just because your list looks longer, or do you really want to have intentional friends over there? So I think that also requires some work at how do you want to be on social media?
That's a really large purge from 2,000 to 200. Like, that's a pretty remarkable number. But I think that's like really good for your friend for being so intentional about what friendships they want to keep online.
Yeah, I think I would even like to hear from other people that if they look at their list and if they have to define who are their friends, what number will they come up with versus the friends and the followers they have in the list?
And it's not actually about the number, right? It's about the quality of the friendship.
Yeah, that I'm saying, given if they have to really ask themselves, is this connection with someone is just on the Instagram or the Facebook, or is that friendship, is it still real?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I'm learning from you guys is, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be as dramatic of a like, oh my God, let's just like not go on Instagram. Like maybe it's like I slowly weed out some people because quite frankly, like I'm sure there's people who've like unfollowed me and I like don't even think twice about it. So I also feel like it goes both ways of like, it's okay. One, the number doesn't matter, but also the internal thing of like, oh my God, we've been following each other for years. Now all of a sudden, if I unfollow you, like, what does that mean? Like, I honestly think it's not that deep. Like, if you're that close with someone, they would know what you're up to. So I think one thing I'm learning, Mama, especially from you and what you said, but your friend is there's less extreme ways of going about how you can really assess the level of friendship via social media.
I'm of the opinion that if you feel like you have to showcase your friendship on social media, that's probably not a genuine friendship. For example, like there are people who want to take pictures for the gram, not to just like save a memory with you. Going back to Mama's point earlier, people who get sensitive if you don't comment or like their post right away, then they're like, oh my gosh, like, how dare you like not fulfill our friendship by not liking or commenting on my post right away? Like, I think that personally is petty and I don't think is a sign of a genuine friendship because for me, I'd rather have the friends who reach out to me in times of hardship and vice versa than me showcasing that I'm your friend on social media. I don't need a post on your Facebook or have an Instagram story for your birthday. I can just call you and that should be good enough, right? I don't know. That's my thought on it.
I was actually going to bring up the birthday post thing because I feel like it used to be a thing where I remember like kind of feeling it went from being excited to post on friend's birthday to like they did it for me last year, so now I have to do it to almost like an obligatory thing. And I know, Mama, for you and your friends, there's a lot of like birthday social media posts that happen too. And I think, again, you're at this crossroads of expectations of how you want to be viewed online versus friendships that are actually meaningful to you. And I want to caveat this by saying like everyone defines friendship differently. And for some people, being very connected on social media is important. And some people seek validation that way. It's just a conversation of there's also extremes both ways that is good to like self-reflect about.
I think maybe is social media making our friendship stronger or shallow? Maybe the better question or better way to see is how are we using it?
That's a really, really good point of how are you using the social media? I want to tell a quick story of it was Valentine's Day earlier this year and I was out to dinner with my fiance and there was like a group of girls doing like a Valentine's Day dinner as well. And every single one of them were on their phone during the entire dinner. I don't know what they were doing. Like, it wasn't even taking pictures of each other. It was just they ordered the food and then they went back on their phone. They would eat the dinner, then go back on their phone. And that to me just like bothered me so much because it's one thing if you're sitting alone and doom scrolling, that's a separate problem. But then when you're also just on social media, when you're having a conversation or a connection with someone, I mean, that's like a true sign of a shallow friendship.
That's so true. It's like, even if you meet and see people in real life, are you actually present with them? There's just many more distractions now because of social media, because it makes it more difficult to be present. I feel like, Mama, you have a more positive outlook, though, in general on the social media than maybe Ishana and I do.
So maybe I think it's a generation thing, right? Or maybe I'm from a positive generation.
I don't know about that.
No, I think that brings up a good point of you seem to have a little bit more of a positive mindset on social media has helped your friendship stronger. Do you think that is truly a generational thing because you lack that level of boundary making and control? Or is there a different perspective that you have in terms of why you think it leans more as a stronger friendship than shallow?
No, I think I do have the both side of the experience when it comes to social media. The reason I said that, you're absolutely right. I didn't grow up in social media. Not having the social media, I really lost touch with a lot of friends. And I never thought that I will be in touch with them unless I visit the same city or I see them somewhere. So suddenly when the social media come and you're able to start back getting connected, start back your childhood memories, that connection, there's a school time and the group is getting bigger. So I think it was something which I have never thought. And suddenly when I was able to do it, I'm very grateful for that. I truly know how it was without it. I think with the friends and the family, everyone, I'm so connected regardless what distance time zone is. So that's because of the social media. And I also get overwhelmed with the social media when the purpose, the intention is not the friendship. It's about showing it to other, taking so many pictures and then putting it. I get overwhelmed with that because that's not, okay, if you want a picture for a memory or something, that's fine. But then it's all becoming to show it to somebody else. I do see that side of friendship as well. And that's overwhelming.
It also depends, I think, on what kind of social media you're using too. Because I do think Facebook is very different from Instagram, is very different from TikTok. But Ishana, maybe you can speak to some of the nuances there because I don't even think you really use Facebook much at all, right?
No, I don't really use Facebook. It's more as serves as a birthday reminder. But see, I consider Strava, the running app. That's a way I'm also staying in touch with friends because I'm seeing other runs that people do. And that's a positive thing because I feel like that's an encouraging form of social media. And I'm not addicted to it necessarily. Whereas I'm just used to opening my phone and going on Instagram for no rhyme or reason. And I think that's where there's a little bit of concern to be about because I'm just looking at random people I don't even know first thing in the morning and when I go to bed. And I've been working on that a little bit, and that can be an episode for another day. But yeah, different social media platforms I think serve different purposes and are more addicting than others.
Going back to the comparison part of social media, which is a topic in and of itself, but I think it is really hard not to compare your life to what you see, whether that's someone going to Italy or having these different life milestones, like I mentioned, getting married, having a kid, all this stuff. Sometimes you see self-pressure if you're exposed to it. The setting boundaries is really important. But I think specifically when it comes to friendships, also, I can't imagine how preteens and teenagers are doing it. If they see photos of some of their friends, but they're not invited to a party, or their post isn't getting a lot of likes, but their other friends are. I think it's a really, really tough territory to navigate.
Some of the things to think about it as we are talking, is it depth versus, is social media giving you more friends but less depth? Or what are the intention you are using? Is it active engagement? You are sharing, commenting, and really genuinely getting into the conversation? Or do you reach out after that? Or is it just passive scrolling, right? Because sometimes I use the hybrid approach. I see some friends' news or something online, but I do offline touch, right? So some of the things I came to know only because of the social media. As you were saying, somebody's getting married, somebody got engaged, or, if there is a sad news in the family, somebody is struggling with health. A lot of times I come to know because of social media. So indirectly, social media many times is deepening my friendship. Because of that only, I knew the firsthand what was happening. But then there's another action of making the friendship more deeper.
Yeah, but I think that was saying how these younger generations, like it's so much self-pressure because you're getting FOMO, you're seeing this person did this, that means you didn't get invited. So it's only getting like harder and harder, I think. And I think it's like hard at a young age you have to be very wise to make boundaries at that young of an age. Like it's very easier said than done to just be like, okay, I'm not going to look at social media today. It's okay that I was invited to that party, especially when everyone around you is using that device.
Even in our generation, this is happening. I would say that in our generation also, like you were talking to Shana about the Facebook post. I hear all the time people talking about, oh, I did the post for her birthday, but she didn't post this time. Or, people will look at others' Facebook, they say, oh, looks like they might having some issue because she posted it or, the other friend didn't post it. So there is always analysis, comparison, things going on with the social media.
So what is both of your final verdict? Do you think social media strengthens or makes friendships more shallow?
I think that social media makes our friendships more shallow for the reasons that I was talking about earlier.
I'm leaning more towards that it makes friendships shallow compared to it makes friendships stronger.
I will go also more for shallow. But also at the same time, as I was saying, that it really depends how you want to use the social media. I think if you take the middle ground, like the hybrid friendship, online and offline reinforcement, like, okay, you seeing some things, but you're still reaching out. That's where I will take the approach.
We answer the question independently in terms of how we think social media strengthens or makes friendships more shallow, but has there been anything from our conversation about this topic that we've taken away or maybe has changed perspective?
As an immigrant, I think the social media was a lifeline for me at time. And I would have not been able to do without social media. So like WhatsApp or the Facebook, that's how I stayed connected. But I think excessive using that platform, I think it has lost the authenticity of that platform. Even with my WhatsApp group, I just cannot keep up with the messages because it's bombarded. Same thing in the Facebook, in the feeds, there are just so many things are coming that I really cannot keep up with it. So I think the intention was good, but I think it is becoming overwhelming now. So if you would ask me this question 15 years back, I would have said, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do without of social media. It has made my friendship stronger. But today, I think it's become more superficial and shallow.
I think my takeaway from the episode is the point that Mama brought up, which I think we can't emphasize enough, is just how you use social media. And you can use it in a way to make friendships stronger. But I do think you also kind of have to set boundaries for yourself in terms of like, how much do you use it? Do you actually define certain friendships by posting, by liking things? And I like the idea that your friend did of looking through her list of friends and seeing which people are my genuine friends who I still want to connect with virtually. I think that's a good exercise.
Yeah, I'd say my takeaway is simply that if you self-reflect or if I self-reflect, I know which friendships are strong, and I can also easily tell which friendships are shallow. And there's methods to maintain or get rid of those in a very efficient, simple way.
Yeah, my take is social media is a tool. It's a platform. It can make friendships shallow if we let it, or keep them strong if we use with the intention. Like, it's about balance. Like likes and memes are nice, but they cannot replace the real conversation.
Listeners, we'd love to hear from you what your take is on this. Ishan and I think, are less favorable, but like genuinely, like, what do you think? Does social media help make friendships stronger or more shallow? And we'd love to hear like a different take and different perspective on this. So please reach out and let us know.
Thanks for joining us on 3 Takes. If something we shared sparked a new thought or opened up a convo with someone you love, we'd love to hear about it. DM us on Instagram at 3.takes, email us at connect@3takes.com, or visit us at www.3takes.com. And if this episode meant something to you, share it with another mother, daughter, or sister in your life. It's how we grow and how the stories keep moving.